Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're doing another broadcast. My name is Sean Wilson. I am responsible for Skype for Business for Manageability IT Pros. And I am here joined today with Praveen Maloo.
Hi, everyone. Great to be talking to you again. We spoke a few months back talking about mobility, so it's great to be talking with Sean and talking to all of you folks here. So good morning and good evening based on where you are.
Yes. As well, make sure that you are taking care of responding to Bing Pulse. We have a Q&A manager running as well. So make sure we take care of that. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about mobility, some of the innovations that we've done today, done so far, some of the stuff that's coming, but really also wanted to kind of give you a real demo of some of the stuff that we've integrated and how it actually works and really is improving. But before we get into that, we want to kind of just take a moment and kind of address how collaboration communications is changing. We've become part of a global village. You know, the phrase global village really is now almost like a global living room.
Yep.
I can have a conversation with somebody that's sitting on a beach in Bali, or I could be sitting here having a conversation with you, and we can still have that high fidelity experience. That with taking that same communications and interweaving it throughout Office 365 has accelerated the rate at which collaboration is actually happening. If we go 15 years ago, productivity and communications really was limited to a phone and a conference room or a place where people met and gathered. And remember the old easels where you'd flip the paper over and you'd write on them, and
oh yeah,
and then you'd tape them to the wall and you'd all come and try to get consensus. All that really, the evolution of how technology has enabled us to take that and virtualize it, be able to do things like Scrum boards if we happen to be in an agile development, or the business process flows through using Visio or working with OneNote across SharePoint Online. All of that collaboration, though, is extended and really fueled by communications.
Yeah, and I think over the last 4 to 5 years, the acceleration has been tremendous in terms of digital transformation. You touch base on a few things, especially in the collaboration communication space, right, where you were used to this physical space. You had your phone, you had your workplace, designated workplace, and with things like mobile and people not being co-located and being anywhere and working from everywhere, there's this significant radical shift in the way people work. And I think I kind of have seen that shift happen in my career as well.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, I mean, if we even just talk like for us, I mean, you're off to the Mobile World Congress next week.
Yeah.
You still have business you've got to do here, right? So
yeah, I'll be on meetings all the time from Barcelona using my Skype for Business mobile app, and I'm connected. I'm in my office just remotely, right?
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how Skype for Business is really making mobile like a first class application.
Yeah. Right? So over the last 1 year, our goal with Skype for Business has been to not just have it as a companion app, but let you do more kind of exploit, so to speak, if I can use that word, the power of mobile, right?
Yeah.
In terms of call kit integration that we've done with improving the voice experience, the meeting experience on the go. You're in your car, using your Bluetooth for audio, for example, being able to use your real estate for full screen video, for example, and also view content from other people. Share out content which is living in the cloud somewhere, right?
Well, we'll explain that a little bit more because there's two pieces there. One that we've talked about a little bit before if you haven't joined us before, but this was new for me. I mean, I just moved to an iPhone recently, and the fact that I have PowerPoint upload capabilities directly from my OneDrive into a Skype for Business meeting saves me a whole lot of.
Yeah, I mean, especially if I find myself in scenarios where I don't have my laptop with me. I'm not holding my laptop over to another building if I'm traveling or if I'm just commuting, right? I just have my mobile phone with me. And I'm not, having my PowerPoint presentation saved on my phone either. It's just, saved on my OneDrive app so that I can access from anywhere, any device.
Yeah.
And being able to upload a PowerPoint in a meeting from a Skype for Business meeting on the app is great. And we actually looked at the demo. If you look at our last broadcast, we did a live demo of being able to do that from your iPhone app. It's live now, and I've been getting great feedback from folks.
It's also on Android as well, right?
On Android as well. And the best part about that is the ease of touch and being able to transition between slides, right?
Yeah.
It's not that you're having to scramble and choose slides. You can just use gestures that you're using.
Familiar with.
Yeah, you're familiar with, and slide through. Yeah.
That's that I think one of the big challenges that I've faced is I commute 45 minutes to an hour each way every day.
Yeah.
Yet I still have to be in meetings. So it gives me that capability to still be able to be part of that meeting, even if I'm not able to be in the room or the space. So being able to not only consume that content, and actually one of my favorite things is the ability, because it's a pretty small surface, is my ability to zoom into that same content to be able to see, even if somebody's doing a screen share on the far side.
Yeah, you can do pinch and zoom that you used to. You're already using another, if you're viewing an image file, you're doing that.
Yeah.
It's the same gesture which comes alive in a meeting scenario, which is great. You can actually look at even Excel sheets with great clarity.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know about other companies, but at Microsoft we believe that the more words on a PowerPoint slide, the better, right? So sometimes you'll actually get in and there'll be you need to zoom to get to the key pieces you want, or Excel being able to zoom in and see what people are showing and talking about. I actually remember I was same concept, sitting at the airport, waiting for something, had to have a deliverable, had somebody working on it, and able to dive in on that. Let's start. You mentioned CallKit. What's CallKit?
So that's something which I'm very excited about. We touched based on it during our last broadcast. So other than the meeting experience, we've been focused on how can we improve the calling experience on your mobile phone, right?
Okay.
A lot of folks are bringing their personal phones into business and work environment, and they're expecting it to use as their business phone extension, right? We're talking about, hey, no more desk phones, and I want to be able to call or be reachable when I'm on the go, right?
Yeah.
Just using my Skype Business VoIP app, right?
Oh, okay.
And we've been doing a lot of work in terms of making that calling experience on Android and iOS and Windows Phone as seamless and close to your native calling experience as possible.
Okay.
So that means leveraging the power of native VoIP experience on iOS. So CallKit integration essentially refers to the SDK, the VoIP SDK that Apple has, which is the CallKit SDK. And we are now integrated very deeply with
so what you're saying in simple terms is, as a user, I literally can use my phone as an extension of my Skype for Business client.
Totally, yeah. So there's no training in terms of, hey, how do I take calls? Your business calls work the same way as your personal calls.
Okay.
It's the same familiar experience, same gestures that you use to receive the call on your lock screen, for example. You see your calls in your call history, just as you would do in your native calls. You missed a call from your business contact, no worries, it's logged in your contact list. You do the same gesture, and using Skype for Business, you can call back right in. So we'll look at that as well today.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that as a demo in just a minute, right?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
One of the quick questions I've got is, it's not even a question, it's more, if you think back, when you started at a job, you had a desk and you had a phone and a computer typically. More recently, you had a computer. That's changing. We're seeing that dynamic change across companies. We're seeing it change where people are moving to soft phones like Skype for Business. They're using really high-end headsets that are giving even better audio quality and better experiences. Really high fidelity speakerphones, and that's a big thing that we're actually going to do a session on, which is really the importance of the right peripherals. But when we start thinking about it, this is an approved peripheral, right?
Yeah.
So as we start to look at our mobile phones, what I want us to think about is how we use it on a daily basis, and I think CallKit's really a key piece to that. But why don't we set up the AirPlay server real quick?
Sure. Yeah. Let's jump right in.
Yeah. One moment. We're just going to scan the code here and hop right on in
so that we can get rid of cables and do it wirelessly.
And there we go. Excellent. Excellent. So Ben, can you do me a favor and switch us over to my screen as the screen? Excellent. So Praveen, tell me what we're looking at right now.
So I'm in my Skype for Business app, but typically if you're carrying your phone with you, your Skype for Business app and your mobile phone with you, you won't have your app logged in. You're not carrying your phone like this, not your laptop, right? You typically have it in your pockets and locked, and you want to be able to receive your phone call. So Ben, why don't you go ahead and call me? Let's see what that calling experience looks like when I'm actually,
So right now, that black screen you're seeing is actually the lock screen.
Yeah,
right?
it's the lock screen.
Oh,
you can see, Ben's calling me, and I can see right on my lock screen that the call is coming. I'm going to just slide and take the call just as I would if it were a normal phone call from my personal phone line. And now I'm in the call without having to go to the app, without having to unlock my phone. I did not have to do any of that. In one swipe, one gesture, I'm in the call talking to Ben right now.
Well, one of the things I also see is it shows couple things. It shows video, it shows the Skype for Business audio, not that it's a phone call, so I can actually see that. But I also see that I've got a button there for Skype for Business. What's that mean?
Yeah, so you have the typical call controls that you would see in a normal phone call. You have your mute button, you have your keypad. One great thing is you can see who's calling, your business contact's name, because it's integrated with your AD. So that's great. And then if I want to use the full-fledged app, I can go right using the Skype icon into the app. There are situations when I want to be able to use the app. For example, if I want to share something, I want to turn on a video, I want to use the full-fledged capability of the app, I can go directly into the app. Now I'm in the app, and I can definitely
add more people to add more people, right? You think about it, business is not static. It's not one-to-one. It becomes one-to-one, to one-to-three, to many. And so being able to have that full, rich capability of integrating people into the client. Now, one of the things we're not going to show today, but I wanted to make sure that we also talk about is PSTN callback, right?
Yeah.
Because some of the settings in there allow you that if you're on Wi-Fi, you can choose Wi-Fi to be able to do full, rich video and audio sharing. But I commute that 45 minutes, and I commute in spots where, I'm in the foothills of the Cascades, so I don't have great connectivity. So one of the things that I do is I actually have the meeting call me back for PSTN. The advantage is that I still can get the video and I can still get the PowerPoint sharing, but that audio comes through my So what we've thought about is how do we empower regardless, right? So
totally.
Show us a little bit more.
So let's look at what happened actually. So I took a call from Ben, and how does it integrate with my native calling experience, right? So I'm going to switch back into my phone log, and as you can see, I have a couple of calls from Ben. Ben tried calling me earlier at 8:28. I was busy. I could not take his call. So you see that red entry there, that's the missed call from Ben. And then I took a call from Ben just on our meeting, which shows up here as well, which is great and tells me that this was a Skype for Business call, so I can differentiate between my personal calls. You can see a call from Sean, which was a business call as well. And I have some personal calls logged here too. I see a missed call. I want to be able to call back right from my contact list. I can just, using the same gesture, directly call from the app. Isn't this cool?
I mean, that there means that you now have the capability of your business phone fully integrated within your day-to-day operations.
Definitely, And one of the things we've thought about is when we did a preview of the feature, we got some feedback around, hey, I want to be able to control as an IT organization. I want to control if I want to make my personal data and business data separate, or do I want to be able to integrate it, right? So we built that IT control as well in a setting. So if you're looking at enabling this in a cool piece of integration, which we think brings a lot of power to your mobile phones in terms of using this business calling device, you can switch it on the app itself. As an IT admin, there's a device setting that you can do using PowerShell script, which allows you to enable this for the whole tenant. And then, of course, there's user preference, which comes in that I want to be able to control from my app too.
Now, one of the things I want to show here, because I was talking also about this, was you see where we're talking about where it says VoIP always, right? So that means that if he's on data or it's always going to use his data plan, right? These are your different options. If you can go cellular only, if you know you're going to be sitting in the in the mountains and you're going to have voice but not solid data, great. Can you just roll back real quick because I want to show you. Remember I was talking about the requiring Wi-Fi. You can actually have it so that if you wanted to have the ability to watch content over your data connection, you can actually choose that, and that's what he's chosen here.
Yeah.
Where if he's going to do full-fledged video, he doesn't want to eat his data plan, so in that one he requires Wi-Fi. So we give a little bit more of that granularity, and these are settings that can be set from an IT admin perspective.
And also on a per user basis, right? Because you're changing your environment at a on an everyday basis, right?
Yep.
Your places with good connection, your places with really great connection. You want to be able to consume meeting content. You're in a country where you do not have a great LTE connection, so you have all these parameters which vary, and you want to be able to control your meeting experience based on that, right? Which is also a great addition that we've been doing.
Yeah. Hey, so you were going to show us a couple things. One was you were going to do a meeting join, but you were going to show us some of the new stuff in that. And then you're going to show us something really cool with Outlook, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's keep going.
A few things. Let's look at the call queue integration from a meeting experience standpoint. Right? We looked at Ben calling me, and I could definitely take that call. I'm also going to join a meeting right here. As you can see, I have a demo meeting set up. I'm going to join the meeting from my mobile phone app, and once I'm in the meeting, I want to be able to lock my phone and see how that experience looks like. So I'm in a meeting right now. I actually, I ended the call.
No. I think because you were the only one in there.
Yeah. So if there are more participants, I can actually have the same meeting controls.
Yeah, we saw
show on my lock screen as well.
So you have the meeting controls while you're in a lock screen. So you're not having to worry about going, unlocking, getting your thumbprint, opening back that app. It's all natively surfaced on that lock screen. You saw it for a brief moment there, but without a second participant, it ends the call, which is actually by design, right? So you don't end up leaving your data connection running the whole time.
And one of the other things that I want to show, we were talking about PSTN conferencing and being able to define and improving the on-the-go experience. One of the things that you would see that we've also integrated this dial-in information right in your snapshot for the meeting, so that I'm not having to scramble and find, hey, what's the dial-in number? I'm in a location where I can't join using the full VoIP experience. I want to dial into the meeting and use the conference ID to directly join.
And that'll automatically do that for you.
Yeah, so now we've done a lot of work behind the scenes. Actually, it looks
so I don't have to go and find the number and then punch in the pin.
You don't have to do anything. It's a one-touch PSTN join experience as well, which is tremendous. So now it's available on iOS and Android in the App Store. If you go download the apps, you have a meeting with PSTN coordinates. You would be able to dial back in.
That's for our Skype for Business Online users that have PSTN conferencing from Microsoft. This gives you that native integration of being able to join that meeting right from there.
Yeah, and let's actually look at the experience. Right? I'm going to join this meeting. I'm going to talk.
Wow, and so it does the pause and the whole bit automatically to join you into the meeting.
Yep, the whole experience. And the call here.
Yeah. We probably have some people on the phone that I'm betting are going to dial into that meeting in just a minute.
Sure, I think so, yeah. Now that everybody knows the
dial in, right? Yeah.
Let me switch gears here and actually talk about the Outlook integration as well, which we touched based on during our last broadcast. We've been doing a lot of work with Outlook in terms of improving this end-to-end experience because on a day-to-day basis, you're interacting with Outlook and Skype for Business pretty much seamlessly.
It's the whole Office 365 Exchange integration with Skype for Business. You think about how we collaborate and how we communicate. It's not just about us having a conversation. We have to schedule it. Some of it's ad hoc, some of it's going to be scheduled. So, being able to do that stuff on the move is important.
Yeah. So, you can definitely join a meeting from your mobile app using Outlook and Skype for Business earlier. Now we're bringing this capability that you can actually schedule meetings right from your Outlook app and make it a Skype for Business meeting on the go. You get a quick note from your boss, hey, can we meet at 5 p.m. today? And you're like, oh, I want to find the laptop and schedule a meeting. No, you don't have to. You have your phone. You can.
Wait, you have a boss that schedules meetings at 5 o'clock on a Friday?
Yeah, it's normally a coffee catch up. So as you can see, I'm trying to schedule a meeting, which is a quick meeting. I'm going to look for, let's say, I want to catch up with Sean. I select who I want to catch up with. I choose my date and time, and the coolest thing is I can make it a Skype meeting right from here. So this is within Outlook, right?
So then when I get the meeting request, it's going to have that link join URL and all the pertinent data that I need.
Yeah, totally. And actually, I'm going to send that invite out. And in a minute, it should actually show up.
Oh, that's our mobile demo.
Yeah, that's the mobile demo.
It'll be probably after your flight. There you go.
Doesn't show it up here.
But while he's going through this, I just want to show, you can notice any of the ones that actually are flagged as Skype meetings. They'll actually have the coordinates down at the bottom.
For example, this one. Yeah, I can actually join this meeting, which I've set up using the Skype coordinates right from here. So I can not only schedule, but also join a meeting directly from Outlook. Yeah, excellent.
Okay, so we've now kind of gone through the demo. Let's move it back to us for a second, and let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we've done to make it on the back end so that users have a better experience, but at the same point, really it's an IT piece that we need to make sure we take care of.
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, of course, in terms of design and UX, we have done a lot of work over time. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of things which go behind the scenes in terms of improving that experience.
Yeah.
And one of that is push notifications support.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of feedback from you guys in terms of improving the notifications experience, improving the calling experience. That hey, if somebody's calling me, it comes right through without without any reliability issues. And having push notifications enabled not only for Office 365 customers, but also for our server customers is of utmost importance to get that experience surface on your mobile apps.
And we've gotten a lot of that feedback is, hey, you're doing a great innovation in the cloud. Let's make sure that we're also taking care of it on-prem for server. And so with the most current cumulative update that's out there, you actually now get that push notification. Now, is that for iOS only?
It's for iOS and Android.
And
yeah.
Android, okay.
Yeah, the work cuts across the clients. So, and actually, if you deploy your latest CU, you should be able to just start that on.
Awesome. So what you're saying is that I could be in Mexico on vacation, not using my Skype for Business app, forgot to have logged out on it, and somebody pings me and I'm going to get an update.
Yeah, so typically, if you haven't logged back in the app for like 3 to 4 days, you would not get a notification right in your log stream, right? Yeah. But with push notifications, as this increased reliability of notifications that hey, if somebody's trying to reach you, you will get that notification right on your app.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Excellent. Hey, so as we were kind of talking about like the IT pro stuff, a lot of the things that come up to us are around MFA and authentication, and hey, now I don't want to be sending my creds back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think we talked a lot about security and authentication and how important it is to be able to manage that experience when people bring their phones and devices in the workplace and being able to securely use that. Right? So we of course have device management and application management solutions which help you do that. But we've been using Intune. But we've been doing constant work in terms of improving that authentication experience based on the diverse needs that our customers have.
Yes.
So we've moved to this modern authentication platform across Office apps. So it's a single sign-on experience.
Within Office 365.
Within Office 365. So you get this consistent experience across all the apps. We've heard from a lot of customers that they want to be able to use certificate-based authentication. That I want to be able to manage authentication using certificates, assign certificates, revoke them when I need to, and manage login using certificates.
And what's the big advantage to that?
I think manageability and security, these are two key pieces, right? I don't have creds in my org, username, password. I mean, they're great, but they have their own risks, right?
Yeah. So basically, it now is an authentication process that now secures the device and the user without having to pass creds back and forth right in the device.
Right.
And that's more and more of a concern now that we, with current security challenges and risks. And part of that also is, multi-factor authentication really has taken off, and the key behind that is, it just makes it much more difficult for people to gain access to devices or towards information. And so, and we're doing a lot of work in that multi-factor auth, the modern auth space, around trying to enable some of these hybrid scenarios. So keep tuned for that, right? As we're moving forward.
And one key thing I want to point out that we now support within Office 365 certificate-based authentication for our iOS and Android apps. On iOS, we shipped it in our last update. So if you're looking at enabling certificate-based authentication, and if you're in Office 365, you can actually go ahead and start implementing cert-based auth right now. We are still working through the hybrid scenarios, as Sean mentioned. We will be.
Those are a top priority for us.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned. Stay in touch with the Office roadmap, because that's a great place to stay tuned for what's coming.
And also the tech community, we will definitely be posting regularly in terms of what are the updates, what's the progress we're making in terms of enabling cert-based auth and modern auth in hybrid scenarios.
Okay. So other than the fact that I'm happy because I moved to an iPhone and now I have this great Skype for Business experience. And mobility is becoming more and more of a dynamic change for us in the industry, because we need to be available around the clock. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning and I've got to be able to check my email and respond to people that might be in Europe at the end of the day, doing the same thing with APAC. So I think we're seeing more and more transitions in how people are working. There's a ton of statistics out there around people working remote at least 25% of the time. I know Gartner had a statement, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but a lot of people are actually quoting that we will be working more and more remotely.
Yeah, I think as much as 70% of people would be using mobile apps to be working remotely from, I think, in the next few years.
Yeah, and we're seeing more and more of that, and we're seeing more and more of a global workforce, right? Mm-hmm. We're seeing people that are, the entire dev team is in Stockholm, right? Yeah. So for us, the reason that it's Praveen and I rather than an engineer and Praveen is because, well, it's 7 o'clock their time right now, and they're done for the day.
They wouldn't be happy with me.
No.
Pull them right in.
So. Well, thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure we call out at the end. We are going to do a session on Skype meeting broadcast next week, or in 2 weeks, on the 10th. And not only that, but it's also going to be a focus on how to use it in structured meetings. Really, how do you take Skype meeting broadcast and use it to be effective in delivering either training sessions or more structured meetings. But before we do that, you'll see on as we close out, there's a link, aka.ms/SfB apps, and that will get you to the mobile download page for the Skype for Business mobile.
Yeah. So as Sean mentioned, I highly recommend you check out the mobile apps if you haven't already. If you're already using it, make sure you're getting the latest apps from the store. If you have any feedback, engage with us in the community and give us any feedback you have in terms of the recent innovation that we've been doing on mobile. And we'll come back again and be talking to you with the next round of updates pretty soon.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.